evacuation orders and approximately 87,000 residents under evacuation warnings. I just want to remind everybody, if you are asked to leave and you're in an evacuation order area, your life is in danger. You need to leave. I know, and it's been stated already, a lot of our residents are trying to get back, and they're frustrated. I stopped by several checkpoints, both in Altadena and Malibu yesterday. I personally listened to residents, please let me back in. So I'm just going to say this. In driving around some of these areas, personally listen to residents, please let me back in. So I'm just going to say this. In driving around some of these areas, they literally look like war zones. There are down power poles, electric wires. There are still some smoldering fires. It is not safe. The minute it is safe, we understand the inconvenience, and every conversation we're having about evacuations, that depopulation conversation is continuously coming up. We do care. We want to get you back into your homes, but we can't allow that until it is safe for you to do so. In regards to arrest and criminal activity, we had several more arrests overnight, bringing our total to approximately, I'm going to say approximately because we're still trying to reconcile numbers, about 29, 25 in the Eaton Fire area and 4 in the Palisades area. I'm going to guess that Chief McDonald may talk about this, but when I was out there in the Malibu area, I saw a gentleman that looked like a firefighter, and I asked him if he was okay because he was sitting down. I didn't realize we had him in handcuffs. We were turning him over to LAPD because he was dressed like a fireman, and he was not. He just got caught burglarizing a home. So those are issues that our frontline deputies and police officers are dealing with. So again, that's why we're asking for your patience. Yesterday in Palisades, we had 1 arrest for a curfew violation. Unfortunately, they resisted arrest. In Eaton, we had 6 arrests last night, 3 for curfew violations and 3 for additional charges, including carrying a concealed firearm and narcotics-related charges. Now, I just gave you stats about things our deputies are dealing with in the street. I want to put out a caution to people. If you are thinking about scamming, using this incident to take advantage of residents that have already been victimized, from a white-collar perspective, I have been in close communication. We had a press conference yesterday with Chief McDonald and I, the State Attorney General. We've been in constant communication with District Attorney Nathan Hochman. I also received a call a day ago from Martin Estrada, the U.S. Attorney here. They are all eager to prosecute anybody who is taking advantage of our residents during this very difficult time, whether it is a burglary or it is some kind of white-collar crime and a scam or anything that you may be thinking about doing. The next issue, which is a little more difficult to talk about, is yesterday we started a search and rescue operation out in the Eaton area, where in the first day of this operation, grid searching, we searched approximately 364 properties in the Altadena area, and unfortunately during that search, we did locate 3 deceased. As these searches continue, I unfortunately anticipate that those numbers will increase. We will start a similar operation in the northern side of the county here very soon. So the numbers I have, and again, it's going to change. Unfortunately, we have confirmed 14 deaths, and that is in our specific LA County jurisdiction. 11 at the Eaton fire and 3 in our portion or our jurisdiction in the Palisades fire. LA cities, that's in addition to. So when you hear the coroner, our partners at the coroner reporting numbers, that's a little bit different. Missing persons. I cannot emphasize, because I'm getting text and calls, if you believe somebody is missing, please report it to your local law enforcement agency. Right now, with the Sheriff's Department, we have 16 missing person reports. We have 12 in Eaton and 4 in Palisades. If there's any good news, there's no juveniles that are missing within those numbers. But I know just coming here this morning, it sounds like we just got dozens and dozens more. I have to reconcile those numbers. We'll report them at a later time. Yeah, and then as I conclude, I know I talk about arrest. That is negative. Some of the things we're talking about are sad. But in this time of crisis, the calls for people wanting to help and donate are enormous. And that's who we are in the county of Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles. So I just want to throw this out. If you are interested in donating food, money, clothing, whatever that may be, the Emergency Network Los Angeles by visiting www.enla.org. And thank you for all of you who are amazing out there who want to help. And then if you want updated information about evacuation orders, warnings, or road closures, lacounty.gov/emergency. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to the Los Angeles Police Chief, Jim McDonald.
Good morning. Thank you, Sheriff. In the wake of the devastating fires, I just want to acknowledge the incredible strength and resilience that our community has shown during these very challenging times. It's truly inspiring to see neighbors coming together to support one another. And as your Chief of Police, I want to ensure you that the LAPD remains fully committed to your safety and well-being as we all move forward together. LAPD currently has over 600 officers deployed to these areas with support from the Los Angeles Airport Police, Port Police, and the National Guard, who has 100 soldiers assigned to the Palisades incident, and we're very grateful for their support. Excuse me. I want to just touch on, during the evacuation at the early stages, thousands of people fled their homes without notice and without much of anything but the clothes on their back. Traumatic experience, certainly, for everybody involved. We tried to be as compassionate as we could be by putting together escorts that provided limited access for people to get into the area very deliberately and be able to retrieve medication or pets in some cases. What we found was that was successful for those who we were able to accommodate, but the numbers became overwhelming. There was frustration, there were long waits to be able to do it, and we still tried to facilitate it, although we weren't able to do that for everyone. Today we need to suspend that practice effective immediately. We have search operations now beginning. We will have cadaver dog deployment, and that will result in crime scene preservation efforts, and then the recovery of remains, working closely with the LA County Coroner. Tomorrow, winds will be picking up, as you heard, further, complicating our efforts and creating an additional fire danger. And so the atmosphere is very continuously changing. We have to adapt to the conditions that are presented to us, and in this case, this is a modification that some will have difficulty with, and I apologize for that. We recognize the importance of protecting fire-affected areas, not just from the physical dangers left behind, but also from those who might exploit this tragedy. To that end, our officers are conducting increased patrols in the areas impacted by the fires. Identifying the cause of these fires is critically important. In conjunction with our partner agencies and led by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, we've created the Los Angeles Regional Wildfire Investigative Task Force, who's actively working to identify the cause of the Palisades fire and ultimately all of the fires that we have experienced. LAPD is still enforcing a curfew in Los Angeles city areas where mandatory evacuations are still in place. Last night we made an arrest for an individual who violated that curfew order. As Sheriff Luna referred to the night before, there were 3 individuals in a vehicle. They were stopped. They were where they weren't supposed to be. One had on fire jacket and a fire hat, and he was additionally arrested for impersonating a firefighter. We have people who will go to all ends to be able to do what it is they want to do to exploit the victims of this tragedy. LAPD, the order will remain in place tonight, curfew order from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., and unless your public safety personnel or some other disaster workers, you have no reason to be at these locations, and if you are in those areas, you will be subject to arrest. Enforcing a curfew is an important tool to keep the burn areas and evacuated properties secure, keeping looters out. This effort also helps protect public safety personnel who are operating in darkness in very difficult conditions. And as you heard previously, the threat there from gas lines, from electricity, down power lines, and many other, not to mention the toxic environment that exists in that area due to the fire that burned plastics and different types of composite material. We all know what the long-term effects of exposure to that can be. I won't go in here to the scams, and the sheriff referred to that, but there are a lot of scams. I would ask that for those of you looking to donate to fire victims, do so with caution. Before contributing, take time to thoroughly research the charity or organization that you're considering. Reputable groups will have clear information about their mission and proven track records. Websites like Charity Navigator and the Better Business Bureau are excellent resources to help verify their legitimacy. It's also good practice to avoid cash donations whenever possible, opting instead for secure, traceable payment methods to ensure that your contributions reach those in need. And if you come upon fraudulent donation requests, please notify us so that we can investigate. Together we can prevent further harm and protect the generosity of our community. In closing, I just want to reiterate that our department and all of us standing here before you and so many others are with you. We're here for you for the duration, not only to ensure your safety, but provide support and resources necessary to recover and ultimately rebuild. I want to assure the community that we're working tirelessly every day to protect lives, property, and maintain public safety during this critical time. Thank you all for your resilience and cooperation during this very difficult time. Now I'd like to introduce from the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, Chair Catherine Barger.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning. Yesterday, I sent a letter to President-elect Trump inviting him to visit our county to see the devastation of these wildfires firsthand, to meet with our impacted residents and hear their stories, to thank our first responders, and most importantly, to see how the federal government can help our communities heal and rebuild. In my years at the county, I have seen time and time again how essential of a partner the federal government is when responding to an emergency and helping our communities recover. I look forward to welcoming President-elect Trump to our communities so he can see the desperate need, but also the incredible opportunity, hope, and perseverance of our impacted neighbors. It is in seeing this hope that I am confident that our communities will recover and rebuild. I also met with representatives from the state yesterday and discussed what we will need to rebuild LA. Legislative leaders committed to working with the county to cut the red tape that will slow and limit residents rebuilding their homes. I also want to share that California Governor Newsom announced a sweeping executive order this morning related to the rebuilding efforts. Notably, he is suspending CEQA reviews and California coastal permitting for reconstruction of properties substantially damaged or destroyed in the fires devastating Los Angeles County. I also appreciate the directive to state agencies to identify additional permitting requirements that can be safely suspended or streamlined to accelerate rebuilding and make it more affordable. I want to thank the governor for hearing my request and taking swift action to ensure that our residents will not be burdened by unnecessary requirements as they begin the process of recovery and rebuilding. We are also going to need full partnership from the county, city, state, and federal governments. And I am committed to bringing everyone to the table for the betterment of our residents that right now are in tremendous need. Every day since these fires began, I have gone out to the impacted communities to hear directly from our neighbors and see the devastation for myself. I'm also meeting with multiple times a day with our incident command. The focus, sacrifice, and determination of our firefighters and our first responders is unmatched. And I have no doubt that they are doing all they can to protect our communities and that they are going to get these fires out. There have been so many questions about availability of resources for impacted residents, specifically the resources available through FEMA. Yesterday, the county announced they will be hosting FEMA staff at 7 and now 8 libraries for residents to get direct assistance for disaster relief. For fire victims in the San Gabriel and Crescenta Valley areas, libraries include La Crescenta, La Cañada Flint Ridge, Live Oak, Temple City, San Gabriel, and Alhambra. For fire victims in the West LA or in the San Fernando Valley, libraries include West Hollywood and San Fernando. They will be open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. today and tomorrow. And following this, the local assistance centers that will be co-located with FEMA disaster recovery centers will be opening soon. Additional information will be announced in the coming days. While fighting the fires remains our top priority, we are rapidly deploying resources to ensure that the displaced residents have access to the resources they need in the short and the long term. My commitment to these that are impacted is simple. I'm going to see this through with you. We will not let up using every resource to fight existing fires. Displaced residents will be served to the highest level as we address your housing, welfare, health care, and economics needs. I met a couple yesterday who lost their home and the business burned down and he lost his job and they have no insurance. People are suffering. And when we rebuild, I can assure you that the county will lead the restoration of neighborhoods that are safe, prosperous, and reflect the beautiful and loving community that has always stood there. With that, I'd like to introduce the City of Los Angeles Mayor, Karen Bass.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Supervisor, and let me assure you that you will have a full partner in the City of Los Angeles. Yesterday, I was at the Hearst Command Post in Sylmar, and it was an example of our heroic first responders. The department, the Deputy Chief, Jamie Moore, is an example of one of those heroic first responders. I received an in-depth briefing about the fires, the successes, and the upcoming threats. Also met with many volunteers. It was very inspirational to be there and to see groups of people coming up in the entire time I was there, delivering all sorts of supplies for the first responders. It was an example to me of the spirit of our city and how we need to continue to act in a unified manner. Those people that are affected by the fires, we give all of our possible support to, and those people who are not affected by the fires, but who are willing to come out and volunteer and help. We will be prepared, we will get through this, but it takes the unity and the spirit that I saw yesterday to make sure that Los Angeles comes out of this a much better city. As we fight these fires, my office is already working to make sure that we can rebuild as fast as we can by cutting through the bureaucracy that holds us back even in normal times. I want to join the supervisor in thanking the governor for his action this morning. That will go a long way to making Los Angeles stronger than ever. And the generosity we are seeing proves that we will. More than 13,000 people have donated over $6 million to the California Community Foundation's Wildlife Recovery Fund. Please join them in supporting the most vulnerable people affected by the fire at calfund.org. Also support the Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation at supportlafd.org. Let me thank every Los Angeles firefighter and the thousands of firefighters from across the state, the nation, and even the world. People are coming from everywhere to help us and make sure that we are ready for the days ahead. So to them, I want to say thank you. For Angelenos impacted by the firestorm and for Angelenos looking to help, the city has created an online hub at lacity.gov to create a single place for people to go for assistance or to find ways to help our community. This includes evacuation zones, FEMA support, resources for small businesses, and more. In the upcoming days, you will see as we continue to fight the fires, prepare for what is to come this week, but we will also prepare for our recovery. Thank you.
Good morning. I want to start by extending my sincere condolences and sympathies to the families of the victims who have been identified and who continue to be identified through the heroic work of our first responders. For updates in the 3rd District, power is back on in Topanga and significant progress has been made in standing down the fires. I want to thank everyone who's on the front lines in Topanga. I was personally there. I know we're working on the generator issue at the library, and I thank everyone who is staying strong in Topanga to protect that special area. Grateful, again, last night for the firefighters who also work to protect the Mandeville Canyon area. The chief and I were on site last night and witnessed firsthand the heroic efforts that are happening there, and I know will continue to happen throughout the day to protect the region. SoCal Gas is starting to restore connections in Malibu today as well. Shifting gears to our public health issues, LA County is currently under a local health emergency. This is also declared by Secretary Becerra. Our smoke advisory has been issued that will be likely extended through next week. Malibu, Pacific Palisades, Altadena, Pasadena, downtown Los Angeles, and areas nearby the fires currently have unhealthy air quality. Everyone in areas with visible smoke or the smell of smoke should limit outdoor activities. If you must go outside, we strongly recommend wearing an N95 or 9100 mask to remove smaller particles from the air. At home, close your windows and your doors. Run air conditioning or air purifiers and check your filters regularly. In your car, close your windows or your vents. Turn air conditioning on to recirculate. Do not use leaf blowers or other actions that will push ash into the air. I know we're working to clear areas. We're not using these blowers. There is currently a do not drink notice for Pacific Palisades and adjacent communities north of San Vicente Boulevard under evacuation notice. LADWP is distributing bottled water at the Westwood Recreation Center and adjacent to the Brentwood Country Club. Please continue to follow all drinking water advisories. LA County Department of Public Health is also currently providing N95 masks at all evacuation shelters and to community-based organizations. Due to ocean contamination, please avoid the beaches at the following locations. Malibu Point at Surfrider Beach near Malibu Tower 3, 100 yards up and down the coast from Lifeguard Tower 3. Solstice Canyon at Dan Blocker County Beach, 100 yards up and down the coast from the creek. Inner Cabrillo Beach in San Pedro. Additional county resources, as you heard, FEMA staff are available to provide assistance at 8 county libraries today. We also are providing additional mental health support, and you're able to call 800-854-7771. For more information, continue to check emergency.lacounty.gov for the latest updates and resources. I want to echo my thanks to the governor for his swift action, as well as to the President and Vice President of the United States who personally reached out to extend their support. I want to conclude with my deepest gratitude to all of our first responders who are fighting tirelessly to keep us safe. I know we're trying to help get you a break before the red flag event begins, but I know deep down you will not let us down, and you're going to persevere, and we will have your back. Thank you.
Good morning, Helen Chavez, Communications Director. For Board Chair, Catherine Barger. Chair Barger recognizes and thanks the following elected representatives for joining us this morning and for their ongoing support during this emergency. Assembly Member Jessica Caloza and Senator Maria Elena Durazo. We will now transition to the question and answer portion of our press conference. When you are called upon, please announce your name and the media outlet that you are with. You can raise your hands if you want to be called on. Anybody have a question?
I'm Bianca Beltran with NBCLA. You spoke about the arrests that were made overnight in recent days. Can you speak to the biggest challenges when it comes to access in these fire areas? And do you find that these individuals are from the area or coming from further away? Thank you.
In regards to the challenges in our areas for the LA County Sheriff's jurisdiction, the individuals that we're contacting do not live in the areas where we're arresting them. We're finding out they have zero business being in these areas. So I do want to reiterate to our communities, if you do not belong in these affected areas, do not go there. You are subject to arrest. I listed some of the charges. We are contacting people. And we are finding a variety of things, including people with firearms, with narcotics. Don't go there. Hopefully that answers your question.
Any other questions? We're going to go over here in the plaid shirt. Microphone.
Oh, thank you. Oh, okay. How troubled are you that there's a lack of communication between the city of Los Angeles and the incoming Trump administration?
There isn't a lack of communication between the city of Los Angeles and the incoming Trump administration. I have spoken with representatives of the incoming administration. I'll be talking more about that in the coming days.
Mayor Bass, where do conversations stand about long-term housing for the displaced?
Well, you will hear more from us this week in terms of moving into the recovery phase. There's a lot of things that we need to do, but one of the things that we're looking at, and you know, something I've been working on for a long time in terms of expediting the process, but given this emergency, looking back at efforts that had taken place in the past and how we move full stream ahead. And this is where I was saying that we're going to be lockstep with the county because we need to cut through the red tape that has always been a problem. But now it's over. We absolutely have to get past this and get the rebuilding going as fast as possible.
Thank you, Mayor Bass. Any other questions? We're going to go right here in the middle. Name and media outlet.
Hi, this is Kirsten with KCAL News. On the missing people, I understand there was the Family Assistance Center that was opened in Pasadena. Is that still open? And I mean, how many are you talking about that are still unaccounted for?
So in regards to missing persons, I reported 16 earlier today. I want to make sure that anybody who believes their family members are missing, that they do contact us, at least at the Sheriff's Department in our county areas. And then we do have the Family Assistance Center, so they can go there to report them or ask any questions that they may have. But it is critical that we are aware of these situations. And when I talk about reconciling numbers, hour by the hour, the numbers increase. Sometimes they decrease because people are being found. So I expect or anticipate that the number of missing persons will absolutely go up. But if there's a doubt in anybody's mind, please, that's what we're here for. Please contact us right away, and we'll guide you through the process so it's easier for you, because very difficult circumstances that we're all under right now.
We're going to go in the middle in the magenta shirt.
Beth Slapaz, KNBC News. NBC News is at Brentwood, where yesterday and today there's been massive lines of people waiting to get into the evacuated area to get things from their homes, medicines, etc. We're being told by folks here that they heard the city was allowing people up to their homes if they came to this location, but then they're not being allowed. Some say they're being told by LAPD 3 cars can go up with an escort every 15 to 20 minutes, but it's not happening. A LAPD officer is telling some resident, in quote, it's all up to the fire department. What's the plan for all these people? Will they be taking people to homes today, and what's the plan for these residents?
Yeah, thank you. I addressed that in my comments earlier. We had tried to facilitate as best we could people going in for a very short time, escorted, the situation controlled, to get medication and in some case small pets. In the early days in particular, that got unwieldy. Many people came out. They wanted to see, understandably, their property and the condition of their property. Today, effective today, we've stopped that practice, and as we move forward, we'll reassess down the road. But as I mentioned, we're bringing in beginning search operations, bringing in cadaver dogs, and beginning the recovery of remains process. So in addition to the threats that are posed by downed power lines, gas lines open, we've made the determination that we're no longer able to accommodate that. The winds are coming back tomorrow, presenting additional issues for us to deal with. Thank you.
And can I add on to the medication? And I know for Pasadena, and I'm sure it's out in the evacuation locations, Kaiser and the county have personnel, doctors on site for those that need to get their medication, recognizing that people didn't bring it with them. So if they can't get in, I would really encourage them to go to one of the evacuation centers, because it's important for them to know that we, in fact, do have people writing script. And we're going to put that up on our LA County website so that people know where they can go to access prescriptions for medication.
Any other questions? Okay.
And I apologize, Tom Manson with CBS News. What, if any, concern is there about animosity from the incoming Trump administration toward California and its efforts to fight this fire? And that's Mayor Bass, that's directly to you.
Actually, I'm not worried about that. I mean, I joined in the invitation to the incoming president to come to Los Angeles. I joined with the supervisor and the governor, spoke directly with the incoming administration yesterday. It was a fine call, so I'm not concerned about that. There are also, as I mentioned before, a number of my former colleagues who are up for confirmation. I feel like I will have good relations there.
Is the incoming president expected to come here?
I believe so. I mean, I certainly, it was a positive response yesterday.
Yeah, you know, I will say, knowing what I know, and I represent Altadena, which is probably the most diverse community that in the 5th District, this is the exact constituency that he was talking to. You've got socioeconomics from all walks of life, and they are suffering. So I am confident that this president will come.
Well, my conversation also yesterday was throwing around possible points of timing. No.
Okay. And then, sorry, just one more question. So we are expecting severe gusts of wind in the coming days. Is the city prepared regarding fire hydrants and water pressure?
I believe the city is prepared. I'm going to receive reports in a couple of hours from a couple of the other city departments, and Chief, if you want to expand on that. Thank you.
Thank you. We had I'm sorry, Chief. Any other comments? Okay, thank you, and go ahead, over
Could you clarify the total death count related to the wildfires? And if I could also, clarification or guidance from the health departments regarding the air quality for residents. Thank you.
I can confer for the Los Angeles County jurisdictional areas that we are at 14 deaths. That's 11 in the Eaton area and 3 in the Palisades Palisades area, but that's just for Los Angeles County. Los Angeles would have different numbers, and the city of Pasadena may have different numbers as well. I would say that the best source for that is the LA County Coroner's Office, because they encompass the entire county of Los Angeles, including the jurisdictions I just mentioned.
Yeah, hi, Anish Mahajan, Chief Deputy Director at LA County Public Health. The air quality is improving as we have seen the smoke lessen with the better containment of the fires. At this time, the South Coast Air Quality Management Division is indicating a smoke advisory specifically in those areas close to the fires in the northwest component of the county. County residents should continue to monitor the air quality index, the AQI levels, wherever they are, but we are seeing improved AQI numbers. And so we encourage residents who are closest to the fire, who are smelling smoke or seeing it, who have the AQI levels in the unhealthy zones, to be using masks when they're outside.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you so much. Oh, we have? I'm sorry, I'm blocked. Go ahead.
Sorry. Simon Bowie, CBS Network News. Just clarity on the discussions with the incoming administration about a visit or communication regarding this disaster. Just to be clear, has Mayor Bass, have you or you, Supervisor Barga, or has anyone in the governor's office actually had a conversation with the president-elect since this disaster has happened? He's been on social media making lots of comments.
I have not had a
response.
conversation directly with the incoming president.
So it's only been with this administration, not with him. And Supervisor, same thing, same question to you.
No, I sent my letter yesterday. I'll be following up today. We have been in discussions similar to what Mayor Bass said with high-ranking people within the incoming administration. Obviously, you know, it's a work in progress, but there is no question in my mind that we will be touching base with him.
The sitting president was here earlier this week. Is it not disturbing that nearly a week after what could ultimately be the worst disaster in the state's history, that no one in leadership at the county, local, and seemingly the governor's level has had a conversation with the incoming president?
Well, given the fact that the administration is being put together, I don't necessarily agree with you on that.
Okay. I have another question about the forecast for next week. The forecast going Monday night into Tuesday is calling for winds up to 75 miles or higher. Looking at preemption, are the hydrants working again in the Palisades specifically? Question one. Question two, are water trucks going to be displaced throughout the county and the city preemptively? And also, has there been any conversation, or maybe they're already happening, preemptive FOSS check drops on areas where homes are right next to very wooded areas, or like, you know, we had Mandeville Canyon the other day, while we have cooperative wind conditions? Is that stuff being done? We're just curious.
Yeah, good morning. I could address the water truck or water tender situation here in LA County. I haven't explained before that on Wednesday, CAL FIRE, after coordination with LA County Fire Department, did request 70 water tenders to come into the area for our multiple fires. They have arrived. We have lots of incident water tenders available to us. All of the reports that I've received is that the LA County water system is ready and it will be prepared to assist us in fighting a wildland fire. Your concerns with the FOSS check drops, CAL FIRE and our federal partners who drop fire retardant only use products that are qualified and on a list. So we're not dropping any products here in LA County that aren't approved. I believe that the use of retardant is safe and it's effective. I know that there's been some social media postings that it is not. I consider that the sinister side of social media, where they're trying to divide us, and we've seen that already. But everything we're doing is approved, it's appropriate, it's efficient, and it's effective. But we are prepared for the upcoming wind event.
Chief Crowley? Chief Crowley, any comment from you?
Yes, so also just to add off of that, I wanted to make sure that everybody understands, as these additional resources are flooding into our region, the helpful part of that is it's freeing up our other local resources. So as we continue to move forward and pre-deploy fire, air, ground, the more resources that are flooding in to help us with our current fires, the better we are prepared to pre-deploy knowing that this wind event is coming. I just wanted to add that on top of what Chief Maroney said.
Thank you, Chief. And we're at the end of our press conference. I'm happy to help support one-on-one interviews. So please come forward if you still have questions. We will connect you with the appropriate spokesperson. Thank you.